now you already know about factors and common factors. We are going to learn about multiples, which are best explained using factors. Let's look at what happens when we multiply two numbers together. A number multiplied by a whole number is a factor of the product. So we use the word factor to describe the numbers that are being multiplied together. A times B equals C. We would say that A is a factor of C and B is a factor of C. A and B are factors. The product of a number multiplied with a number is a multiple of that number. So now we introduce the word multiple. So again, similarly, we have A times B equals C, but now we're going to look over here at the product of A times B. When we multiply two numbers together, then we get the product of C. The product is C. We call this the multiple. So I would say that C is a multiple of B. You'll also hear it said C is a multiple of A. And also you'll hear C is divisible by A and B. Let's take another look at factors and multiples, and we'll look at them using some numbers as well. So we have our A times B equals C, and A and B are factors, and C, or our product, is what we call the multiple. So let's look at how these are used with some actual examples of numbers. This will look quite familiar to you. 3 times 4 equals 12. So 12 is equal to 3 times 4 is another way that we can read it. Now we would say that 3 is a factor of 12, and we would say that 4 is a factor of 12. And looking at the 12 as a multiple, I would say that 12 is a multiple of 4, and 12 is a multiple of 3. We can look at the order of the multiples of 3 to take a little closer look. 3 times 1 equals 3. 3 times 2 equals 6. 3 times 3 equals 9. And 3 times 4 equals 12. So these are all multiples of 3. 12 is actually the fourth multiple of 3. 3 is the first multiple of 3. 6 is the second. 9 is the third. And 12 is the fourth multiple of 3. We would also look at this 3 times 4 equals 12. And we would say that 12 is divisible by 4. And 12 is divisible by 3. Similarly, here we have 7 times 5 equals 35, which, since we have our multiplication tables memorized, we know this one by heart. 7 times 5 equals 35. So we would say that 7 is a factor of 35, and 5 is a factor of 35. And then the multiples, we would say then, using the 35 as a multiple, I would say 35 is a multiple of 5. And similarly, 35 is a multiple of 7. 35 is divisible by 5, and 35 is divisible by 7. Common multiples are multiples shared by two or more numbers. So if I have A times B equals C and D times E equals C, then C is a common multiple of A, B, D, and E. So looking at it with numbers, I've got 3 times 4 equals 12, and also 2 times 6 equals 12. So 12 is a common multiple of 3, 4, 2, and 6. Also, 12 is divisible by 6, and 2, and 4, and 3. You can find common multiples amongst 3 numbers as well.